This video will cover how paraprofessionals can use the helper role to get access to GoGuardian monitoring sessions. We will go over how to log into GoGuardian, how to access a monitoring session started by another teacher, and how to use the helper role to support student learning. To log into GoGuardian, we'll start at GoGuardian.com. We're going to select Sign In at the top right. We're then going to select Login with Google. If it prompts you to use your GUHSD credentials to log in, please use them. If not, it will take you to your GoGuardian dashboard. Once you're in your GoGuardian homepage, there are two ways to access a monitoring session that is currently in progress. The first way is you'll see a notification at the top here for the course that is currently being monitored and how many minutes are remaining. To enter this session, go ahead and click this. The other way is to enter with the course itself. Go ahead and click the course and select Go to Session. Let's do a quick review of the helper role by feature. So we see that the top 5 X's under helper role, helpers cannot edit classrooms, they cannot archive, they cannot add or remove other teachers, they cannot add or remove students from the GoGuardian classroom, and they cannot start sessions. What they can do, however, is meaningful. They can view active sessions. You can end the entire session for the course, so it's important that you talk to your teacher about the ability for you to do this and whether that's appropriate or not. You can send commands individually or as a class to students in a GoGuardian session. You can toggle on and off the teacher chat to communicate via text for students in GoGuardian. And you can apply or change what are called scenes. Those would be not to individual students, but you can apply or change scenes that apply to all students in the classroom. So that would be important as well to speak with your teacher about. Once you enter a GoGuardian monitoring session, you'll be taken to the monitoring session dashboard. We're now going to go through and demo some of the features that you have available to you as a helper in a GoGuardian monitoring session. The first thing we see course tiles that are listed here. These display information about how the students are browsing the internet at this point. We see that we have the name here. We can do a couple sorting options if we want. We can sort by last name. We can sort by online, offline as well, or first name. If we want to toggle on chat, we can turn it on here. Again, it turns it on for everybody in the course. So that's on and off for chat. You do not have access to off-task alerts. You do not have access to apply scenes. You do, however, have access to end a session for the entire class. So please consult with your teacher about your role during this process. You can change the way things look as far as the visibility of things, the tiles and how big they are. If we look over here at the update time, if you need to add time to the monitoring session, you do not have access to do that. Let's try and see what happens. So if you try to update the time, let's say you want to add 15 minutes to this monitoring session. So it's not going to end at 1:43, we need to end it at 1:53. If you click update session, you'll notice that you see an error message here. Anytime you see this error message, you'll get an indication that only an owner or a teacher can do that. Once we see the course tile here, we see that we can also toggle chat on in this way here. We have this check marks, we can check box it, and then we have options at the bottom to open a new tab, to lock a device, unlock a device, or exclude from session. Again, you do not have the capability to exclude students from being monitored. We can do this in another way, and we're going to explore these features shortly. I can also do those same functions by clicking the 3 vertical dots. I can lock a tab, I can open a tab, lock the device, and then again, you cannot exclude people. What also is listed here is this is the student's active tab that you see open here. If you want to go to their active tab, you can actually click this link and it'll hyperlink you out into a new tab on exactly the page that the student is viewing. These 2 tabs down here are other tabs the student has open. So this student has a total of 3 tabs open. This active tab is 1, and the 2 other tabs that they have open on their browser. We're now going to take a deep dive in here. So we're going to click this tile and we're going to open it up. We now get more of a glance. I can click what they're looking at and I can zoom in. And at this point, I see my log over here. If I want to access this, I can click it here. If I want to access these other 2 tabs that they're looking at, I can click them and see if I'm not sure what they are. If I need to close a tab, what I can do is I can close this tab here. I can close any tab I want. So if I want this student to close this tab, I can close the tab, and it's closed on Eric Brown's end. We notice that the tab disappeared, and we see it here. Now you can monitor what students are doing. Eric Brown is going to be changing locations, and so you notice there's about a 2 to 3 second lag between when the student does it and when you see it here. But you notice if the student does scroll up and down, we see a little bit of a lag, but you notice that things change slowly here. Now at this point, we want to bring our attention down here to these features that you can use to support student learning. This is the Open New tab. So I can direct a student to automatically open a tab for them. So let's say that it's a link to a YouTube video or it's a website that I'm having them use. Maybe it's a complicated URL, it's a complicated place to get to. So you would go to the website, copy and paste the URL and paste it in here. And when you click Open Tab, what happens is you notice that if we're watching Eric Brown here, it opens automatically on the student screen. So this is a great way to get students to where they need to be in a quick way. And again, if we want to close it, you can have them close it by you closing it here. We can also lock devices. So if we want to lock a device, we can send a message for what they want to do, lock the device, and now we see on the student end, it's completely locked. And the student will get an indication that'll say browsing is disabled with a little tiny cute raccoon on it, and they can't do anything. They can't open a new tab, they can't open new windows or anything. When you're ready to unlock the device, you would just unlock the device at this point here, and Eric Brown can go around and freely access the websites that he'd like. You can also enable chat. So if you want to use text to communicate with them, click chat, click on. Now again, this turns it on for everybody. So please consult with your teacher about how they want you or how you want to use the chat with your students, because this does enable chat for all students and the teachers. And again, if you wanted to text him something, message here, the student will get a prompt on their end. You can see that that's the notification that they get. And so the students would then go down and they would click that little cloud notification, and it will take them to the text screen. They will click the text thread, and they will message back. And then you'll see it here. And so that's how you use the chat function. If you want to turn the chat function completely off, go ahead and click on, and it'll turn it off. So these are some nice ways that we can lock down student behavior. We can open up automatically tabs on their computer. And then we can also do what's called taking a screenshot. And it just basically takes a picture of whatever they're looking at on their screen. So if you identify information that maybe needs to be screenshotted and analyzed later for a particular purpose, you can click screenshot. Screenshot is taken. You get a notification. To access your screenshots, they show up in the screenshot tab here. And we can see that those are the screenshots. You can download and save to drive as you need. The next thing we're going to look at is timeline view. Timeline view takes all of these screens, lines up all the students, and we get a longitudinal look at what they've been doing over time. So if I go zoom out all the way, I can see at 1:13, they were on this web page here, and these were the other tabs they also had open. That's how long they were on them, and there's the time frame right there. I can go through and click these and get information about them. Items are stored, so I can click these links and go back to see what they were looking at during that time. So it leaves a nice trail, a nice record that you can access now and also afterwards as in a report. You can also do what's called presenting to class. Again, please consult with your teacher about your role with presenting to class. What you'll select is present your screen. Now the great thing about this is because you're probably going to be identifying and working with students on an individual or small group basis, you can select students to present to. So I'm going to only select Eric Brown because maybe that's the student I'm working with, and I'm going to choose what I'm going to share. I would select the screen that I'm going to share. I have two desktops open right now, so I could share this desktop or that desktop. I'm going to choose this one because this is what I'm going to want them to look at. And then you would click share. Basically, your screen will be projected onto the student screen, and they would be following along with whatever you were doing to show them maybe where to go or to demonstrate something. If you look here, you can go through some of these and see if you can enable the microphone, enable the camera, and this information will also be a part of whatever screen you're sharing. This image that you see here will show up in a small window down here. And again, we can select which students to share in that way as well. This has been an overview of the helper role in GoGuardian and how paraprofessionals can use this to support student learning during a GoGuardian monitoring session. If you have any questions, want some more tips, or want to walk through some troubleshooting, please never hesitate to reach out to GUHSD Tech at guhsd.net.